I'm an unashamed Google enthusiast who uses Google Home to run my smart home. However, there are features I found in the Amazon Echo Dot which I wish were included as part of the Google ecosystem. In this video I review the unique features of the Echo Dot that I wish my Google Home had. Plus, I look at some of the things that still make my Google Home setup superior at the moment. Despite being deeply invested in Google Home and Google Assistant, I decided to pick up an Amazon Echo Dot in anticipation of an upcoming major change in the smart home space. All of the major smart home manufacturers and brands are going to start using a new common platform called Matter, which will make the myriad of competing devices compatible with each other for the first time. That means you should be able to use an Amazon Echo with Google Assistant and Google Home devices with Amazon Alexa. I've always admired the line of Amazon hardware from afar. My house uses Google Home and Google Assistant as the backbone of my smart home. As a result, I haven't found a way to integrate any Amazon hardware into my setup. However, there are a number of features that are exclusive to Amazon Echo that I've always wanted to try. In terms of hardware, despite the difference in aesthetic design, the Amazon Echo devices are pretty similar to Google's own hardware. The main features of the Amazon Echo Dot include the large 44mm front-facing speaker, 7 microphones if the internal hardware is similar to the older generations, and some physical buttons and a capacitive button to control playback and functions, plus an LED ring for visual feedback. For the price at $70 Canadian, it puts it in the same bracket as the Google Nest Mini speaker, although the audio performance is slightly better in my opinion, but more on that later. From an aesthetic point of view, I actually prefer the ball design, and I think the elevated angle of the main speaker driver contributes to the subjectively better audio. While it's an entry-level device, the sound is pretty deep and resonant compared to the more lightweight audio from the Nest Mini. The Echo Dot is great for playing music in the background casually, but it's not a device that will impress audiophiles. Without dedicated drivers for the top, mid-range and bass, it makes the audio reproduction a bit muddy as they all get channeled through the same main speaker. However, if you're just listening to music in the background, or if high fidelity isn't a concern, the average owner will be more than happy. Naturally, being an Amazon device means that you can use your Echo to order goods from Amazon.
Buy Lysol wipes.
Amazon's choice is Lysol disinfecting wipes, citrus, 6x75 count. It's $31.74 with delivery by January 12th. I added it to your Amazon cart where you can review product and seller details before checkout.
Better still, you can track and get spoken updates of any impending deliveries by asking Alexa.
So where's my delivery?
A package for order was delivered yesterday to the front door.
When it comes to ordering, there's a fail-safe in place to stop you accidentally ordering the wrong item if it requires more consideration. Any request to order an item will place that item in your basket associated with your Amazon account. You can then review the contents of your basket on your phone or computer before purchasing. However, if you're confident Alexa has chosen the right item for you, it is possible to complete the purchase using the Echo Dot to save time.
To purchase, say buy it now.
In the US, I can see this having even more utility. Unlike where I live in Canada and also elsewhere in the world, Americans will be able to order regular everyday items such as milk and eggs that don't require quite as much scrutiny for even more convenience. This next feature was one that I only came across after watching another video review. Alexa features something called dynamic voice tones, which measures the cadence of the person speaking to the devices. Depending on the mood of the person speaking, Alexa will adjust its tone when replying to foster a more personal engagement. For instance, replies should in theory be delivered with more empathy depending on the situation.
What time is it?
The time is 11:39 a.m.
So what time is it?
It's 11:39 a.m.
Plus, information will be delivered in different tones, so music requests will use a DJ-style delivery, while news will use a more formal tone like a newsreader.
Shuffling Encanto, original motion picture soundtrack by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Read the news.
Here's your news.
However, my favourite variation of the feature is the fact that you can whisper to Alexa and it'll reply in a whisper.
What time is it?
It's 11:39 a.m.
This is great for situations late at night or where your partner is sleeping so you don't wake them up with a booming response from Alexa. Like the Google Nest Hub Max, the Echo Dot includes an ultrasonic sensor that is used to detect the proximity of the user. Using an inaudible sound, the Echo Dot emits a signal and listens to see if any new bodies have entered the area near the device. If the microphones pick up the reflected sound waves, the Echo Dot can use the data to automate functions using your other smart devices, such as turning on smart lights or smart plugs. Using the app on your mobile device, you can create these custom automated events called routines. While Google Home includes routines, the unique feature the Echo Dot has is that you can use the ultrasonic sensor as a trigger to start a routine. In my household, I've now created a routine that uses the sensor to automatically read out the family calendar entries so we don't miss important events.
It's 1:09 p.m. Your next event is Pathfinder winter tires and puncture repair tomorrow at 10:30 a.m.
The Google Home Max has a limited version of the same feature whereby it will detect who is standing closest to the device and display updates. However, I do prefer the audio announcement of the Dot, which feels more proactive. The more proactive announcements are especially useful for older generations of people in your household where referring to a screen on a digital device is not a habit. The other reason I'm a big fan of this feature is that the equivalently priced Google Nest Mini doesn't have the same hardware. So to get a comparable experience means either paying more for the Nest Hub Max or investing in a third-party motion sensor that is compatible with Google Assistant. You're not limited to just reading the calendar either. You can have the sensor trigger other processes, make custom announcements, and even write your own custom responses using normal syntax and writing the operation out in plain English. Another feature I'm impressed with is the ability to set up a routine that is triggered by the Echo Dot monitoring sounds within its environment. When creating a routine, you can choose the trigger Sound Detection and select one of the 6 different noises that will be used to start the next action. These include a beeping appliance where you can have the Echo Dot announce a warning, which will be useful if you've left the fridge door open accidentally. Or another great idea is you can choose baby crying, which is a clever way to create a baby monitor if you don't want to use a camera in your nursery. Each of the 6 options come with a suggestion for how to use the routine, however you're free to completely customize the actions to suit your own personal preferences. While I don't use an Eero Wi-Fi router, a cool additional feature for households that do is the fact that the Echo Dot can be used as a Wi-Fi extender. If you're unfamiliar with the tech, a Wi-Fi extender is a device that relays and boosts your Wi-Fi signal. It can improve the signal strength in parts of your house that are further away from the router, or just reinforce the strength of the signal in existing environments to increase reliability. The fact the rather inexpensive Echo Dot performs this as an additional feature is very impressive. Google does have their own version of the combination of hardware, but in a twist, its extenders include a smart speaker, while the Echo Dot is a smart speaker first and costs less than half the price of the Google Nest extender. One of the minor things I really like about the Echo Dot versus my Google Home ecosystem is the trigger phrase.
Tell me the time and tell me the weather.
In Victoria, it's 9 degrees Celsius with mostly cloudy skies.
This is a minor but impactful improvement over my usual interactions with Google Assistant.
Okay, I'm making tea.
Okay, I'll let you know when your tea has steeped.
Saying Alexa instead of Google or Google is actually more convenient, as you're always uttering fewer syllables. It might not seem like much of an improvement, but psychologically it's telling how much more satisfying it is to call out Alexa as you would another person in your household. I'm not inclined to say the additional okay or hey when speaking to my wife or daughters when interacting with them, for instance. I only say their name to get their attention, which feels much more natural. I do know that Google is rumoured to be giving users the option to change the trigger phrase in the near future, but nothing has been launched at the time of this video. My final favourite Echo Dot feature is minor but pretty handy for me personally. The Echo Dot and Google Home are capable of making announcements, either by instructing the devices verbally or writing out the announcements in the app on your phone. However, one nice little touch is that Alexa has some predefined sounds that you can use just with a simple tap, unlike Google Assistant. Unfortunately, there are some areas that aren't great when it comes to using the Echo Dot and using it as the heart of your smart home. Specifically for users outside of the United States, every useful third-party integration is unavailable to me here in Canada. For instance, I'm unable to connect my Philips Hue lights, my Lutron lights, or any of my other smart home devices so that I can use the Echo Dot to control them. Every single integration or skill, as Amazon calls them, is unavailable and includes the message, "You are not eligible to enable this skill due to geographical restrictions." This means I will never be able to set up some of my most useful routines to use Alexa to control my lights and smart plugs around my house. Digging around the internet and Reddit, I discovered I'm not alone. There are multiple unresolved threads in the official Amazon forum. The only workaround suggested is to change your location settings to be in the US. However, that will adversely affect my ability to order goods from Amazon, as mentioned earlier. I tried resetting the Echo Dot to see if simply erasing the data and reconnecting would fix the issue again, but with no luck. I hope this is going to be resolved in the near future, and there's a chance the current issues are part of the upcoming transition to Matter. Another area for improvement is one of Google's strengths when it comes to interacting with the AI assistant. It's the ability to converse with it rather than just bark orders.
Google, tell me the time and tell me the weather.
It's 1:45 p.m. Right now in Victoria it's 9 degrees and mostly cloudy. Today it'll be partly cloudy, with a forecasted high of 10 and a low of 4.
Unlike Google Assistant, you're unable to string together several commands at the same time with Alexa, instead waiting for each command to be completed before moving on to the next one.
Tell me the time and tell me the weather.
In Victoria, it's 9 degrees Celsius with mostly cloudy skies. Today, you can expect clouds and showers, with a high of 9 degrees and a low of 4 degrees. I didn't catch the other thing you said.
For example, while cooking, I can ask Google Assistant to turn on the lights, start music playback, and set a timer all in one sentence. Alexa, on the other hand, requires 3 separate commands, which is less convenient and more time consuming. Unfortunately, at this time, you're unable to add more than one account to an Echo device. There is a workaround to include more than one voice profile to each device, but it requires everyone in your household to log into the same Amazon account. This unfortunately means you can't order items and track orders per household member. Only the master account's purchases are going to be accessible via Alexa. This is in contrast to Google Home, which enables you to seamlessly connect multiple accounts and personal profiles by inviting different household members to the same device. Each member can then access their own personal data via voice command alone. Hopefully, Amazon will enable multiple accounts on the same device in the future. When it comes to my final thoughts, I'm impressed with the unique Amazon Echo Dot features. I'm definitely looking forward to integrating them into my Google-run smart home when the transition to Matter finally happens. I'm especially keen to use the sensor-based triggers in more interesting ways around my house. I can see multiple ways the ultrasound detection can provide a lot of utility to my family. However, the major detraction currently is the inability to use any of the skills for third-party integrations with my other smart devices. The fact that every single skill is unavailable to me here in Canada suggests it's more of a widespread bug with Amazon services. Once it's resolved by Amazon, I'll be sure to revisit the Echo Dot to test out some of the automations that I'm interested in. Thanks for watching, and as always, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos on the connected home and personal technology.